Durban for the street race and part of festivities for the Top Gear Festival. Lots of action on the track, but more importantly, right now we're going to be picking up on action from the Lotus Challenge, proudly brought to you by Cobra-Suspension. 30 cars on the grid and the biggest field of cars at the festival, so looking forward to the action happening out on track.
Whole shot is what it's all about.
Well, I'm going to try and get into that first corner first. I think it's going to be quite difficult to pass. The car's running strong, you know, the extra air compared to Joburg, it's pulling nice, we're getting some good top speeds. As long as we can keep it clean, keep it out of the barriers, I think we're going to do well.
Talking about specifically the setup, tires and suspension, because obviously we're on a street circuit here. All these cars are set up for groomed circuits.
Well, look, the bumpiness always plays a factor. We're also going to battle to get heat into the tires. The cars are very light. The tires are quite big slicks. Usually on the circuits we race in the usual tour, there's a lot of grip down. We can get heat into the tires quite quickly. Here, less grip, a lot tighter, a lot slower. We're going to battle to get the tires up to temperature and really get them working. But, you know, we set up around that. You've got to be considerate of what the circuit's like. So hopefully we've got it right.
It's a very tight circuit and something that's going to challenge these guys big time. We saw it in production cars, the single-seaters, and in the Polos. Now in the Lotus, the biggest field of cars down here, 30 of them going into battle.
Qualifying would be key. Everyone knew this coming into it as well, and look at the lead already. That's the starter flag, the MSA starter flag on the right-hand side. We come through turn number 1, and everyone just needs to behave themselves for the first couple of laps until we get up to racing pace proper.
Well, it's our fellow commentator that got the drop on everybody, and Becca, you seem to have got away nicely there, Andrew.
Look, that was the idea, to get away clean. I knew it was going to be impossible to overtake, so let's see how it goes.
Yeah, those walls get very, very close. This is one of the sections as well. Watch how they come through there. From the inside of that curb to the outside of the curb, you can literally only just thread the needle. If anyone tries to get up your inside, they're going to be buying a little bit of cement down here in Durban.
Well, turn 3, a long left-hander, then hard on the brakes into a 90-degree right. And, of course, right from there, you go into the West Bank chicane, which is a very tricky section to get right. Andrew, take us through there, buddy. It was so tight there.
Oh, well, look, you come into that first right-hander, and it's actually got a bit of a false apex. So it's easy to turn into early and completely stuff it up. You then can't get up next to anybody through the chicane. It's too tight. If you try and do it, you're going to be in big trouble. And I think a lot of guys binned it because of that.
Early race as well, so still pretty cold out. You can see long shadows, and especially when you go through turn number 2, that's where you go under the bridge. This is a nice open section. This is where you can really get the cars stretching their legs and breathing nicely. You can see Zeely absolutely flying down there, so he's going to make up some numbers down the straight.
Yeah, having a look there is John Glover too. He has a good big look there on Stratum as they come through for the Class Bs a little bit further back there. Class C's being led out by the Goose right now. Glover is not holding back. That's the maneuver you need to make. He got up alongside Lauren Miller. Lauren Miller tries to come back into turn 2, but under the bridge here, there is no room. So she's going to have to hang tight and maybe return the favor back on that main straightaway.
You know, she was showing a wheel there as well, so she definitely got good drive coming out of turn number 1. Now she has to just sit and just behave herself. Unfortunately, if you can't make that pass in turn number 2, you've got to go through this entire section, try and get it late on the brakes before you set up into the big set of right-handers, before you then get onto the straight. Everyone knew this coming down into the street race. If you cannot pass here, you've got to wait for your chance and then unleash down the big straight.
Try and get it all together. That's the most important thing, and keep it all together through here. As you can see just how tight it is. We're on board this time as we go through. That's how close it gets.
Man, pull those elbows in. Extremely tight. Glover is just defending right now, but Muller is definitely charging and building up the pace in the pinky.
Neil McLeod just behind there, and looks like at the front end things have changed up a little bit in the Class A's too. Becca, our fellow commentator, has got away, but there's a nice battle for second place, and the second place battle is Zeely in the Exige, fighting hard with Norman Witt, and looking good there as well, of course, is Clippies. And look at that, Lauren Miller side by side. Oh, brilliant stuff.
Not scared at all. Got on the loud pedal as quick as she could, made 2 passes in 1. Now she can go and really start dropping the hammer, but she's not actually covering the line. Sorry, she is covering the line, but she's missing the apex completely. There's a chance of someone else coming back at her.
Look, if you're brave here, you can get rewarded, but it's very tough to pick up braking markers on the circuit. Being a new circuit, I think in the first race, everybody was very, very cautious, and you can see that.
I think the other thing we need to watch out for, Andrew, is the fact that everyone's getting faster lap after lap, definitely improving their pace, which means they're going to be probably, there's a chance of missing your brake marker completely by about a car, maybe a car and a half length, which means the walls are going to get damn close.
Yeah, of course, lapse in concentration, and that's going to catch you out.
Johan Powell at the back end of Class C now battling nicely. There's actually a lovely little battle starting to develop. The X35 car out there, of course, also having some fun and game. Mark Futcher, and of course he's a Durban man, so he's going to know these streets a little bit more than other guys do. He's had a chance to drive this circuit during the period when they were building it up, so definitely going to have a slight advantage.
Nice onboard shot here as to go through the back of the circuit. This is where it is extremely tight. You literally have to hold station the whole way through here, following all the way through, and then you come into a right, set yourself up, and then you can start building. You can see these guys obviously very frustrated with their qualifying, and that's why we're seeing huge gaps develop.
Zealy got the problem here on the X season, pulling it onto the sideline, so that's a big pity we've lost that car. Interesting to see that they allowed that car to come and play.
Well, look, the guys in Class X are invitational guys. If you've got a Lotus that's fairly original and is going to compete with the guys on a level playing field, you're welcome to come train.
That's an awesome way of doing things, and I got to say, afterwards, these guys have really put on a phenomenal show. MSA were very impressed with the way you guys handled yourselves at this particular event, and also the fact that all 30 cars, almost all of them, I should say, went home in one piece.
Yeah, they're actually quite skinny as well, like, if we compare them to the other categories of racing that were down here. Polos, maybe they could fit in there, but these things can just handle a little bit better and turn on a dime.
Amazing cars to drive, I got to say, having a chance in the Tornado marketing car a couple of events back. But now, these guys have got a whole new ball game to play with here. On board with Powell once again as he goes down. There you can see Becker flying through, and that's the differential between Class C and Class A. Big.
Well, look, both Class C and Class A guys need to stay awake. The closing speed is very, very fast. So the guys need to watch what's happening.
Here's a nice example of that pass up the inside of turn number 1. Bury it and cover that line and make the pass count before you go into turn number 2. That's a clean pass, job done, and there's no way to come back from that.
That's a good bit of driving there, got to say, but looking at the speed differentials and talking in time, 104s from the Class A's, 115s from the Class C's. So it's nearly 10-second differential there. That's why you can see these guys get closed up so quickly, and the blue flags are now going to be working frantically for the rest of the race.
Yeah, those marshals are going to be getting arm pumped. The majority of cars down here are Class B, so you're going to see a massive battle ranging from around about 4th through to outside the top 10.
Awesome bit of stuff there from Rob Gearing as he goes alongside and gets past Glover. Made him look pretty amateur there, and I think John might just be hanging back slightly. He doesn't want to go home with a dented car or any damage because there's still historic Tour and some more Lotus races to be done this season. But as you can see, things now starting to settle a little bit as the guys have got used to conditions and also getting used to the faster cars coming through.
Andrew, from your side, being the fastest car coming through, how was it getting making those passes?
Well, look, I was lucky I had a bit of a buffer, so I could take my time. And as you say, round the back section, almost impossible to pass. So I was just holding back, waiting for a clear gap. Didn't want to put in the wall, rather come second than break the car. Non-championship race, so taking it easy.
Making all your passes down the straight there, smooth as you like.
Norman Wood coming through there nicely as well, as is Clippy's Cricker. They can see they've been held up slightly more than what Andrew Becker was able to do, and C49 is one of the cars of Gordon Kempston, who unfortunately just held Wood up a little bit more. Now you can see Clippy's in amongst these Class C and X cars and hasn't found a way through. He's going to have to wait now, unless the blue flags are waving, the guys move out of his way. But you can also see Clippy's car is not firing like it used to, and like it normally does, I should say.
Here's Reed. I was just about to say Reed was doing okay there, but Reed is just getting eaten up and going backwards. Looks like he might have some problems, but he got absolutely drilled going into turn number 2. He is starting to recover from that, so it just says to me that he was missing a gear.
There you go, moving out of the way, and Clippies gets past and heads up the field one more time. Kempson moving over this time, but here comes Reed. Reed might have a go here. He's close enough. He might not go into turn number 6, but onto that straightaway, he might just have what it takes to get into the slipstream and get past the blue car in front of him.
Yeah, I think Reed just must have missed one gear there, and you really get punished hard because these are pretty much stop-start corners. You need the drive.
There's the drive going past, and Clippy's flying past some of the other competitors that are now starting to become back markers as the Class A's start to make their way to the front end of the field yet again and looking for that checkered flag. There's no doubt about this race is nearly done and dusted, but they've put on a phenomenal show.
Incredible to see these Lotus cars flying around here and definitely putting on a big show. Plenty of blue flags, so all the Class B guys are coming through and charging. There goes Reed. Oh, sorry, it looked like Reed. In fact, we go back on board with Reed, and he is just getting beaten up. He is in a cluster here, and he can't do anything about it.
There's no way past, unfortunately. As you said, Matt, you've got to find that perfect line, and some of the guys have managed to do it, but as you say, there's a couple that are really battling out there, and you can see that things now, as they get close in amongst each other, and as those Class A cars come through, you can actually see the guys starting to slow each other up, and the battle that was raging now becomes an opportunity for overtaking, and there you have it, going through.
49 of Kempson, I think that is, going backwards, so having some problems, and just that, it's very rare that you're going to see that pass count there, and that was because of the guys moving well out the way to allow the faster kids to come through.
Look, I certainly wouldn't try and overtake there if you weren't lapping somebody. It's very, very tight on the entrance there.
So Becker now starting to make his way to the mid-pack, and this is where things can get even a little bit more hair-raising, because now you've got guys that are a little bit more competitive, and of course they're all in their own little battles here. As you said, not championship points up for grabs here, but there is the